What is up, guys? Archon Tsunami bringing you guys another video. I know it's been longer than a week, and I usually try to do weekly uploads, but spring is here. My sinuses are killing me. It's a great time to be alive for sure. But League has released Gwen's ability breakdown, and I really wanted to cover it, even though I probably sound horrible right now. I apologize for that. Without further ado, let's go ahead and take a look at Viego's wife, shall we? Passive, 1000 cuts. Gwen's basic attacks deal bonus on-hit magic damage based on a percentage of her enemy's maximum health. Basic attacks against champions will heal her for some of the damage dealt. For a passive, this seems pretty good. Again, without seeing the actual numbers and scalings in that, it's hard to say just how good maximum health damage is going to be. But the healing probably keeps it in check somewhat, would be my guess. They can't have her doing like 20%, of somebody's maximum health and then healing for that amount as well. Like, that would just be insane. Granted, I know her husband, Viego, heals for a lot. But still, that would just be insanity, right? Right? Would never do that. Q Snip Snip. Gwen rapidly snips her scissors between 2 and 6 times, dealing magic damage in a cone. At a minimum, Gwen will snip twice. Adding 1 snip per basic attack Gwen has landed on an enemy, up to 4 for a total of 6 snips. Enemies in the center of each snip take true damage as well as the bonus magic damage from 1000 cuts. So it does look like her passive is going to play a big role in some abilities as well. Let's take a look here. Okay, yep, that's hyper snipping if I've ever seen it. Just cut through the entire set of paper. 1, 2, 3, and then she just snips you down. So the ability seems pretty good because it's also applying her 1000 cuts passive for each center hit you hit. But the true damage is what I'm mostly curious about. If it's like a small amount of true damage on top of the bonus magic damage from 1000 cuts. If it's not and the true damage is actually very substantial, then she becomes very broken. Obviously, I mean, I don't think I need to tell anybody that. Personally, I wish Riot would stop baking true damage into kits lately. It's just not something they should be doing. You can't itemize against true damage, and that's where the big problem comes from. If you can't find a way, like, you already gave her maximum percent health, find a way to make that maximum percent health actually mean something, even if she's being built against. Instead of just, well, if they build MR, then, well, she has to be able to deal damage somehow. Better just slap in some true damage in there. That just seems odd to me. I just don't like it. Okay, W, Hollowed Mist. Gwen spins up the Hollowed Mist to surround her for 5 seconds, gaining some armor and magic resist when in it. Enemies outside the mist cannot target Gwen or hit her with any abilities. The mist will move to follow Gwen the first time she tries to leave it, but will dissipate the next time. Okay, so Viego's reading his W, and it goes right through her because he's not inside the circle, huh? Okay. So, same thing, readying the W. This time it hits, though, because he's in the circle with her. It's basically a Zinalt, essentially. It's actually a better version of a Zinalt because as long as they're not in here, the circle with you, they basically can't touch you. You're on a different plane of existence, essentially. They can't CC you, they can't damage you. Like, even if Caitlyn ult you push W, the ult goes right through you. It's just very interesting of a design choice, honestly. It's kind of like a win wall in terms of how it's going to feel to play against. It's going to be very miserable. Because Winwall is just never fun to play against. Like, everybody complained about Samira getting her Winwall the way that she has it, and now they've released another champion with a similar aspect to that, except for this doesn't delete projectiles, so you can still hit her teammates that are inside this thing. You just can't hit her directly. So it's kind of like a more chill version of Samira's W, I guess. But it moves with her as well. It's not showing if you can actually cast abilities while the W is active. I do wish that they would go a little bit more in depth and show you, maybe her casting Snip Snip here or something that shows, hey, you can cast multiple abilities while you're inside your W. I don't see why you wouldn't be able to. On paper, it just seems very strong. Skip and Slash. Gwen dashes a short distance and empowers her attacks with increased range, speed, and on-hit damage, or on-hit magic damage for 4 seconds. Attacking an enemy during this time refunds 50% of this ability's cooldown. So, of course, she needs some way to get onto the enemy laner, right? And here it is. So basically she gets extended melee range. So she's both melee and mid-range in a way. She's going to be a top lane bully. I have a feeling she's going to definitely be a top lane bully. I mean, her E gets a quick cooldown. Look at this. She autos, 3, 4, 5 times, 6 times, and then she has the dash back up within 6 autos. Not to mention that each of those autos are applying bonus magic damage and also applying her passive 1,000 cuts. And it's also giving her Q ability Snip Snip, her 6 stacks. She can cash out. She can cash out right here on her Q, deal true damage, apply more 1,000 cuts to you, and dash away. Or dash to the other side and get more stacks for her Q. Definitely seems very strong. It's gonna really depend though, like on what the ability cooldowns are too. You can spam Q or not after your E and what your E cooldown is gonna be. It does seem like it's rather quick that it comes up because she dashes within 6 autos, so that's relatively quick. For R, Needlework, can't wait to see. Gwen can cast Needlework up to 3 times, but needs to hit an enemy within 8 seconds to unlock each subsequent cast. Each cast fires needles in a line that deals magic damage, slows enemies, and applies Gwen's 1,000 cuts bonus magic damage. First cast will fire 1 needle, the second will fire 3, and the final cast will fire 5 for a total of 9 needles. And 9 applications of her passive. So, without knowing, again, numbers, it's hard to say just how good this is without seeing the slow amount, the flat damage the R deals. And again, it all comes back to her passive 1,000 cuts and how that's going to scale. On paper, Gwen seems very strong, I'll say. She has mobility to get in. She has mobility to outrange top lane champions. She has the ability to deal with ranged champions in the form of her W. She has true damage to deal with tank champions in the top lane. She also has maximum percent health magic damage to deal with them as well. Everything seems to proc her magic or her maximum percent health, and she has self-sustain in the form of her passive as well. So it's going to be very interesting to see what her numbers are in terms of power, because on paper, her kit just seems to be really strong. I will say her weakness does seem to be champions that can gap close into her, potentially like a Zed or something that can R on top of her, or a Yi who can Q into her and get inside that bubble. But it's without knowing like how much armor or magic resist you're actually getting from her W. Even that may not be enough to actually bring her down, especially with the sustain that she's going to get off of her passive and her Q, because her Q applies her passive. Plus, she can also just dash away from you as well if she needs to once you gap close into her. So, again, going to be very interesting to see just how strong Gwen is. For a potential build, since she does seem to be an AP bruiser at the moment, like Diana or something, you're probably going to go Nashor's Tooth. Depending on scaling, you could probably go Hourglass for armor up top in the top lane if you wanted to and still get AP. Maybe Demonic Embrace if she's that type of champion. I don't think she is, though. I think she's going to be built more as an attack speed champion. You may also see Lich Bane potentially. With how fast her abilities seem to come out. Again, I don't know what her Q cooldown is, but her E cooldown does seem pretty fast, so maybe you could get some benefit out of Lich Bane. It's also possible. Shoot. Maybe you could go just a pure attack speed build where you go maybe something like Kraken Slayer. I know Kraken doesn't necessarily mesh well with AP, but champions like Xin Zhao, who recently just got a change to both his AP and his AD ratio in that, just wants pure attack speed to pop you up and deal damage. He can go Kraken and it's okay-ish. I think she would definitely benefit from it more than he does because she can outrange you while also proccing it and just deal like a metric crap ton of true damage. So imagine she E's in and she's able to outrange you with her E. She hits you 6 times, procs the Nashers, what is it, like 50, 60 bonus damage on top of her E damage, on top of her passive damage, and then she presses R to slow you so you can't get into her to actually melee her yourself. And by the time you actually get on top of her, you're probably dead. It would be my guess, because she's also hit you with Q, which also has 6 stacks of true damage. Kraken Slayer has procced twice as well, and it's just a lot of damage coming in at once. So, again, on paper, it seems strong. Numbers-wise, I don't know. I would have to see the numbers to really say. But like I said, I just gave you guys a theory scenario of some things you could do. Probably, you can probably build her tank attack speed bruiser. Probably build just pure attack speed. I'm sure that would definitely be an option. There's no reason why she wouldn't benefit from it. She heals for every attack she does too, so I don't know if Kraken Slayer with her passive would give you a bigger heal, or if it just would mitigate the Kraken Slayer's damage and just give you the passive heal. Probably just the latter and give you the passive heal. But I definitely think Gwen is going to be quite strong. We'll have to see, though. I think she'll be pretty close to on par with Viego in terms of how broken she'll be. She doesn't have anything crazy like Viego does, where he can kill a champion and then become that champion, steal their items and their kit, and, you know, run their team down like old Mordekaiser used to do. I made myself sad. I reminded myself of old Mordekaiser. I miss him so much, because even when old Mordekaiser was behind, he was never behind. He was actually ahead the whole time. All you needed was somebody on your team who can assassinate an AD who's fed after you put the R on him. And then you get that AD carry on your team, and then that AD carry literally one-shots her team, or their team. And you win the game off that. Kind of what Viego does now. But anyways, guys, hopefully you enjoyed the video. Be sure to hit the like button if you guys enjoyed it or found it informative. It helped me out a lot. I won't ask you guys to subscribe, but if you guys enjoy the content that I bring to the channel, I cover a multitude of games, it would help me out if you guys subbed as well. I would appreciate it greatly. If you guys have any questions or any ideas for builds for Gwen, let me know down below. Maybe I'm wrong on everything I've said, because again, I don't know numbers and I don't see, you know, all the, like I said, all the numbers, essentially is what I'm getting at. But anyway, hopefully you guys enjoyed the video, and I will see everybody back here for the next one. Later.